Hello, folks. Welcome to Scratch the Surface. I'm EJ Scott. Today, my guest is Dana Powell. But before I talk about what Dana and I talked about, I would like to do a couple quick plugs of my Twitter, at EJ Scott, the podcast Twitter, at EJ Podcast, my website, ejscott.com, Instagram, ejscott1106. I have lots of puppy pictures. Very popular. And I'm raising money for charity. Go to crowdrise.com/7on7. The number 7 on the number 7. Dozen or so charities there that I picked out that mean a lot to me. That ranges all over the place. And I'm sure everybody that is listening is affected by at least one of these causes. So if you could, please check it out and please give if you can. I'm trying to raise $500,000 in however long it takes to raise that much money. So check that out. I am going blind from an eye disease called choroideremia. It is degenerative and genetic. And in 2012, I ran 12 marathons around the country in 12 different states in that 1 year. So I was able to get a documentary made about it, a short 30-minute documentary called Running Blind, edited and directed by Ryan Suffern, and it's really well done. So if you have a couple bucks, $2 or $3, you can rent it or buy it on iTunes, Google Play, or Amazon, and get a digital copy of it and enjoy it. It's a kind of a depressing topic, but it's an entertaining documentary. So I hope you'll give it a chance and check it out. Thank you. So Dana and I go back quite a ways, and we talk about she was even my coach at one time for improv. So we talk about comedy and her background of growing up in a small town, her siblings. We talk about her and her family. We talk about a lot of injuries. Dana's had a bunch of injuries. Talk about that. Talk about being a mom. Her friendship with Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family. We talk about lots of good stuff. And Oklahoma. I think we talk about Oklahoma. So that's a running gag through the thing. But we had a great talk, a lot of laughs and good times. And she's wonderful. So I hope you will enjoy my talk as much as I enjoyed my talk with Dana Powell. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's new with you? I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know.
For a long time, but I'm traveling a lot.
You're traveling a lot. I have a kid.
You have a kid.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
He's great.
How old is he now?
5.
Wow.
Yeah. But, it changes your life. I feel like when we met, I could go down to the theater and do 5 shows a week.
Yep.
But you can't do that when you get older. Also, you're just tired.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you're in your 20s, like I started there in my 20s at Iowa West.
Yeah, me too.
Where we met.
Yeah.
And when I moved out there, I just moved there from Long Island, and I was there to be an actor.
Yeah.
And I was ready.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, so, and then Iowa West was right near where I was staying, so I just walked there every day and watched shows and did shows, and it was very easy.
I had never seen long form before.
Yeah,
so
me too. Not good stuff, actually, but yeah.
I'd only ever seen short form, so I was like mesmerized by it.
Do you remember the first show you saw, or who?
I don't remember who it was, but I do remember the feeling. I want to say it was like a deconstruction back in the old space on Santa Monica, with like Wendy maybe, Wendy Marino and Drake and
Valancourt or something.
Yeah, I think so. And I just remember thinking, oh wow, that was amazing. And then we stayed for a couple of Heralds, and I was just mesmerized. I was like, oh my God, they're telling stories, and So then my goal was to take classes and learn, because I had done some improv back home in Missouri.
Like short form.
Short form, yeah.
in a school or a theater or a
It was
club?
with college kids. We had an older grad student that was like, hey, let's do some improv. And actually, it was their group. They were called the Rusty Trumpets, which was sort of an insult to one of our professors used to say, you shouldn't be going out and partying, because I got a BFA in theater. And he would say, you shouldn't go out and party and do stuff, you're leaving your instrument out in the rain. You're going to become a rusty trumpet. And so they were kind of the renegades, So they called their group the Rusty Trumpets. And I happened to have an acting class with some of them. And they were like, you're really funny. Do you want to come do this? And so I ended up doing the Rusty Trumpets for a couple of years when I was in college. And we did just terrible There's bars,
Sure.
places where people did not want to hear improv drunk college kids. But we actually sort of created a nice following, and that was my first introduction to improvisation. So then when I came here and saw long form, I was just blown away.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
I think short form's a good start for long form.
Yeah.
And even doing it in those weird places.
Yeah.
If you can get through one of those.
And I loved it. Like, even
Yeah.
when it was bad, we would laugh.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That means you could
That set me up for, like, who cares if you fail, I think.
Yeah.
It never bothered me,
Yeah. Because, if you're going to be an actor, you're
Yeah,
gonna
you
set yourself
gotta.
up.
That's kind of your job.
It's
Yeah.
failing and then getting back up and trying
And
it
keep
again.
going, yeah.
That's hard. Do you teach that to your kid? Is that like a good parental type
Yeah,
of...
he's kind of not there. He's a little bit fearless, and I hope he stays that way.
Yeah.
But my college asks me, they come out here once a year, and they're so lucky. They do a big like showcase for agents and stuff. We didn't have any of that when I was in school, but they'll often ask me to come and talk, on a panel to the students that come out about acting and living in LA and stuff. And I always tell them that.
Yeah.
And I say specifically, like, if you are the star of the department, get over it, because you won't be. I mean, it's possible. Some people make it overnight, but it's pretty rare. But I say one of the biggest lessons I learned in college was not being the star and not getting cast and really struggling. The only people who really noticed me a lot were the students, Like we had this thing called the Vickies every year, which was kind of like the Oscars for our department, or the Tonys or something. And I would get nominated and win most underrated actress and stuff.
Oh,
but it
nice.
prepared me for life, because rejection doesn't bother me. I learned it really early.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well,
All right.
yeah.
I'll try another thing.
But I think if you're a big fish in a small pond, a lot of people quit when it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah. I think in this business there's a lot of like, well, I'll try it for a little while, and then people get like
Disillusioned
and just frustrated, and they're like,
Even within our own community, I see examples of that. Like, I started off at, when I say our community, just where we met,
Right. I know.
Yeah,
Improv and stuff.
improv. I see, like, I had been doing IO for a while and decided I wanted to go to another theater to study. And people were like, you don't want to start at level 1. You should try and test out
Right.
and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I don't have any laurels to rest on. It's
You're
an
right.
improv community. Like, I
Yeah.
worked hard to get to this point here. I can work hard and
Yeah.
learn a whole new way. Like, I want to constantly remain in my life a sponge. And I'm willing to start wherever I need to and learn. I just always want to keep learning.
Yeah, me too. And I've been out of improv for a while, so I just took a level 1 class
Oh, nice. Where?
at the Magnet in New York,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and that's run by Armando Diaz.
Nice. Uh-huh.
And I finished a 401 at UCB in New York
Wow.
just a couple months ago.
Wow. Did you enjoy it?
Parts of it. I
Yeah.
mean, some of it I'm like, I've been doing this almost 20 years. I've always taken classes. So
Yeah.
sometimes I check out a little because I'm like, but it's good though, because I'm still kind of rusty and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's good to be like, okay, work on
I
some
don't
stuff.
perform as much anymore either. I miss it sometimes.
Me too.
Ironically, though, I am doing a show tomorrow.
I saw.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's exciting, with a bunch of great ladies.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Super great ladies.
I might try to make it over there.
It's such a fun idea.
What is the idea?
Lauren Pritchard put it together, and she just sent a message to a bunch of us one day and was like, I was just thinking, I see most of you in waiting rooms for auditions for theatrical jobs and commercials and stuff. A lot, because we're the same type,
Right.
And she was like, but I've never performed with a lot of you, and we're all in the improv community.
Right.
And so she was like, let's do a show called Waiting Room. So basically, people that come to the show, somebody can, we'll choose somebody to tell sort of a horrible audition story and use that as our inspiration for scenes.
That's nice.
So,
That'll be fun.
It'll be fun, I think.
So it'll be a variety of scenes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good time.
This will air after.
Way after that, yeah. But I think we're going to keep doing it
good.
once a month.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So go see them at the PAC.
At the PAC, yeah. It's called
Theater
the Waiting Room.
in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
The Waiting Room.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
How's Mr. Dan Tipton, your husband?
Oh, man. Successful and great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a producer, right?
He is producing now.
Modern Family, right?
He is the production supervisor on Modern Family.
Okay.
But he's produced a couple of other shows. Cooper Barrett, which got canceled last year.
Okay.
He did that one. And then this summer he did one, or last season, I guess, the last half of last season, he did one called Making History, which is coming out soon, actually, on Fox. I'm not a very good promoter. Yeah, it's a comedy, a time travel comedy.
What?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really funny.
That'll be great.
Do you know Stephanie Escajeda?
No.
Her husband created it.
Okay.
She was more Groundlings, I guess, but
okay.
But in our funny people community.
Well,
anyway,
you've done all that stuff.
Yeah.
You've done Groundlings.
Yeah.
Right? Sunday Company.
I did, yeah.
And Second City?
I did not ever do Second City, but I did UCB.
UCB, you did do UCB, okay.
Uh-huh. I did the very first class here.
The very first one?
Yes.
Who was your teacher?
Matt Besser.
It was Besser.
And it was so interesting. They're so smart, those guys. They created such a clamor for their classes by...
Crazy.
He chose, I think there were 15 of us, contacted 15 people and said, do you want to be in this, like, the first class? And it was kind of a master. It was for people who had already had a lot of experience.
Did you have to pay for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were invited.
But it was invitation only. And I heard that people were like calling the theater going, why wasn't I invited? Why wasn't,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it was weird.
Touches the nerve.
Uh-huh.
Touches the nerve.
But
what a compliment to you.
Yeah.
You know.
And the class was so fun. There were amazing people in it.
I bet.
It's just like we had so much fun, and people I had performed with for a while anyway that had been out here. His first set of people that came out, they all kind of moved out together.
Yeah.
Like Danielle and Jessica and Jamie and John and all those people were around. And I had already been performing with them, doing Martini Shot, the improvised movie.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So when I went into the class, I had never really worked with Besser before, but I remember he approached me on Hollywood Boulevard in front of one of the pizza places.
Yeah.
And was like, so some of my people say you're pretty funny. I'm going to start a class. Do you think you want to do it? Like, that was my invitation. And,
Is that the first time you met him?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man. I mean, I knew who he was because of, Upright Citizens and everything. I had watched it when I was in school and stuff. But I was like, yeah, man. Because I loved taking class. I was always like, I'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I went over there. And, it's a different style than what I've learned. And I always say everyone over there is so highbrow and so smart, like academically, and have references and stuff. And I never had any of that. I'm just not that kind of smart.
Too.
And so, gosh.
Is that your pillow?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Did I scare you?
Everything breaks in his house.
Well, then I am in the perfect place because I break everything. So I remember one day in class, I didn't do that great in class, but they were creating the first Herald teams out of it.
Wow.
So I was on one of the first Herald teams.
What was it called?
Robot Doctors.
Robot Doctors.
Yeah.
Who was on your team?
It was like me, Kate Purdy, Chris Tallman, Brendan.
Wow.
Who else? Mike Petrondo.
Oh, yeah.
Bane Gibby.
Yep. All good people.
Mm-hmm. Michael. Oh, gosh, it was so many years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun. But I remember Besser saying to me in class one day in front of everyone, he was like, Dana, I don't really know if you get it or not. And I was like, well, maybe I don't, but I guess I'm good enough to fool you for a minute, huh? And he was like, good point. Like, that was kind of it. And like, our team lasted for a little while. It was just a weird time because everything was just starting up there and people were like, choose one or the other a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it was crazy. And I was already taking classes at the Groundlings as well.
Right.
Because that's such a long process.
Yeah. Years.
I think it took me 7.5 years.
Oh.
Yeah. But it wasn't a big deal to me because I was already performing other places.
Yeah. But I took the first 2 levels at Groundlings back to back. So there were 6 weeks each because I think I was taking 2 classes a week or something.
Oh, wow.
And so I finished it in like 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
And then there was a 2-year waiting list for the next one.
Yeah.
And in that time I had gotten really into IO
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot about the Groundlings. I didn't even go back because they never called me. And then it turns out I changed my phone number.
Oh, no. It was just meant to be, though.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Because I was more interested in improv anyway than writing and stuff like that at the time. But I had Besser as a teacher in a workshop. I was interning. And I guess there was a thing where if you were an intern or something, you could take his workshop.
Oh.
If you were, I don't remember exactly how it worked. But before I even took any levels there, I took his workshop. And he was my teacher.
Yeah.
He hated me. Hated me. And didn't even try to hide it.
Right. No, I'm sure.
Didn't bother trying to hide it or anything. But like, I'm pretty sure he said whatever that thing he said to you and much more. And then he'd do stuff like, he'd just make like little groans and sighs and rolling his head back and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I am the worst improviser ever. And I don't even think I went to the last 2 classes. Yeah. I was like, this is just no.
I feel like because like I said earlier, like I just have been rejected so much. Like I thought it was funny the way he reacted to me. Like I just never let him get me down.
That's good. You did better than I did. Maybe I should have done the same thing. Maybe it was a test. Maybe it's his way of testing people. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. Because, after the class, every time I saw him, he was very nice. I went to New York and it was for the Del Close marathon. Yeah. And there was a show that me and Arden Marine were trying to get into, and they made us wait in this big line, and we were never going to get in, and he came and pulled us. Like, he's always been very nice, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I helped move him once.
Oh, wow.
And he did a benefit for me. He did like my very first benefit show at IO.
Wow.
So that was nice.
That's nice.
And I didn't even know him. I just coldly went up to him and said,
that's
would you
nice.
do this? And so, but after I took his workshop, I'm like, all right, I'm terrible. So I'm going to take level 1. They were going to let me do level 2, but I was like, I'll take level 1. Yeah. Because maybe I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it. And I think, and actually, since I've been taking classes in New York, I think I'm finally kind of getting it.
Good. Their style is different. I think my brain maybe doesn't work well that way.
Mine too. And especially after years and years of thinking another
character
way.
And relationship and yeah.
And now it's like, well, how do I take what we did the first time and heighten it a second time and make it different or more funny or something?
I always tried to, in my brain, simplify it for Dana. So I was always like, okay, so the first scene was like a man, angry about his food. So the second scene is going to be like a bunch of goldfish, and one of them's angry about his TV. But I don't think that's right.
Nailed it. You should teach her.
Oh, God. I'm going to try.
How'd you like Groundlings? Like, you went to Groundlings, 7.5 years of the Groundlings. That's a big commitment.
Yeah, definitely. I loved it over there. I know people are going to talk shit about anywhere. That and especially if they're not successful there. I found it different than like say IO where I started. But I really appreciated it. This is what I was in Sunday Company with a guy named Alex Enriquez, who's a very funny man too, and when he was ahead of me and when he didn't get into the main company, he said, I feel like they made me into a weapon and then released me on the world. And so,
What does that mean?
like, it was trial by fire to learn how to become a writer and not be afraid of rejection and not be afraid of failure, whatever that is, with your writing. And I grew up when I was very little. I did a lot of writing, and I did language arts fairs and won a lot of awards and things like that. And when I got into junior high, my mom wanted me to join the newspaper, and I was petrified that I was too stupid and not good enough. And so I literally stopped writing. I didn't write in high school, nothing, until I was probably 24, 25, and I wrote a show with Josh DuBose.
Saw that show.
Called Dry Clean Only.
Yep, I saw it a couple times.
And that was
Very good
sort
show.
of like the first time I started writing again, and it felt so good. And I was like, maybe I'm not bad. And then right around then, I started rapidly getting into the later years of the Groundlings, which was like, go in the hallway, you have 5 minutes, write a monologue, and perform it. And that was terrifying to me, but we didn't have time to be terrified. And that's the way Sunday Company was too. Like on Wednesdays, you wanted to bring in 5 to 8 ideas. You didn't have time to be scared. You didn't have time to worry if people were going to like it or not, because you were on a roll trying to figure out what was going to be in the show for you on Sunday, what was going to be in your closing. Like, it was all just such a fast train that you didn't have time for failure, basically.
Sounds like a good boot camp.
It really was a boot camp. It really was.
You must have learned a lot.
I learned so much.
And then with what I know from Sunday Company and how it works with Groundlings is you after you do Sunday Company for 2 or 3 times, I think.
Yeah, 3 sessions is a year and a half.
A year and a half. So then they either invite you to be a groundling,
Yes.
or you're
Done.
You're done.
Yeah. And they'll still invite you back to do Crazy Uncle Joe shows
Right.
and Cooking with Gas. And if I wanted to do my own show, I could have space there. But you don't perform in the main stage shows, unless you're invited
Yeah.
into the company.
And is that how was that for you? Because you were not invited.
I was not
right?
invited. I was one of those people that, for even to this day, people are like, I can't believe you didn't get in. And, it just was meant to be. It was interesting. I really thought I had a good shot. I'm very, very proud of my last shows and my last 6 months. There's nothing I would do different. I think my brain works a little different than theirs too. I've realized I'm kind of a weirdo. And sometimes even things I write on the page, sometimes you're like, what? But then when I perform it, it's like my magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they have very specific ways of doing characters and stuff, and I'm kind of an oddball. And
what's so odd about you think?
Probably that, there's a style with them of these big characters, and sometimes my characters aren't big, but they're so specific and they're so recognizable universally.
Yeah.
And like I had an instructor come up to me once after a show and say, you broke every whatever rule, that we have. And it was hilarious.
Aww.
And so that was very flattering, but it didn't get me into the company.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know why they have so many rules if there's other options.
maybe those things are changing. I don't know. But I just feel like for me, that wasn't my path. And it was interesting because right after that, I got cast in the movie Bridesmaids.
Yay! With
Yeah.
Mitch Silpa.
With Mitch Silpa,
Which
who
is
was one
funny.
of my instructors.
He was
and a very good friend.
He was shadowing when I was taking classes there.
Oh, really?
He was shadowing Patrick Bristow.
Okay.
So Mitch was there every class, and I think one time taught the class.
Oh,
like
wow.
as a practice
He was a
or something.
wonderful
Nice
teacher.
guy, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. He was hard on you, truthfully, but in a kind way.
Yeah.
And just always made you better. He's fantastic. I always say my voice as a writer today is probably a lot due to his guidance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How'd you like working on Bridesmaids?
Oh, my God. It was so fun.
What was that like?
It was so, I felt like I got so spoiled.
You got to work with one of the Queen Groundlings, Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
Right?
I did, yeah.
What was she like? What was all that whole
So
experience?
nice. I had already known her and her husband,
did, okay.
Ben. He was my director for the first 6 months, so I was already...
At the Groundlings?
Uh-huh.
No kidding.
Yeah,
wow.
from the first 6 of Sunday Company. They were just kind of on their way out, and so I caught the tail end of that. It was the last time he directed Sunday, I think.
How long ago was this?
Oh, gosh. 10 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because I started taking Groundlings classes there in 03.
Yeah.
So that could be a couple years
It may have
after
been
that.
less than that. I think I was 2009 maybe was my last year, because then I had my kid a couple years later. But it was interesting because when I was in the makeup trailer with Kristen Wiig, she said, "You just finished up Sunday, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "How'd it go?" And I was like, "I didn't get it." And she was like, "You know what? F that. You're sitting in here with me working on, this movie."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, totally." And I remember at the wrap party with Wendy McClendon-Covey, who I adore. She's just
great.
like the
From Reno
sweetest.
911.
Yes. Just the sweetest. And I would always run into her at auditions and stuff. And she was always like, "You're so awesome." She's so supportive. But she said to me, too, sometimes we don't, God doesn't give us what we think we want because it's not good for us. She was like, "You're fine. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
Yeah. It was a tough period for me because I didn't have representation. And I was like, being seen like that all the time would be so helpful.
Sure. Well, with the Sunday Company, that's a big deal, and
yes,
could people come see you during
definitely.
that? And did you get
when I didn't get into, yes, I had representation when I was in Sunday Company.
Okay.
Not an agent, just a manager.
Okay.
But she and I parted ways. The last day I was shooting on Bridesmaids, I shattered my arm. I finished shooting, went home, was going to go to a play with a friend, slipped on ukulele finger music.
That's when you shattered it.
And I shattered.
I knew you hurt you shattered
that
your
day.
arm.
And so
God.
that kind of sent me into a spiral of I was in bed for a couple of months because it was shattered into pieces. And I separated from my representation. And so I kind of came out of that with nothing, and it felt scary. But
what is the pain like to do something like
dude,
just to
the
fall?
reason I had a baby is because my doctor was like, honestly, this is probably more painful than having a child.
Yeah.
And he's right, because it was longer. I was in labor for 36 hours and it was done, right? But that was months. I've had 3 surgeries. I just had a surgery 2 years ago. The bones all died. They had to dig out my dead bones. I hope your listeners like gore.
Oh, yeah, they've heard some of this stuff before.
So they dug out my dead bones, then they roto-rooted out my leg.
They called roto-rooter?
I call it that. That's what it was. They went up the center of my leg bone and shaved off the insides.
Oh, my God.
And then stuffed that in my arm, hoping that it would. Oh, God, I'm sweating. Can I take off my sweater?
Yeah, please.
Just talking about it makes...
Oh, I might take off my shirt, too. God, that's hard. And you're scarred, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, huge.
Let me see.
It goes all the way up to
yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever broken anything before that?
Yeah, I had broken my leg in
How'd you
college. Do that? I was sick. And I lived in this giant house with my best friend. Her grandparents were wealthy. Mm-hmm. And she was such a snot. I was like, "Hey, I don't feel good, man. Can you go get me something to eat and bring it to me?" And she was mad because she wanted to go out and do something with me. I don't know. And she didn't believe I was that sick. And so she was yelled down, "I brought you some McDonald's, but you'll have to come down and get it." And I was like, "Fine." Well, then I fell down the stairs and broke my leg. And then,
did you yell at her, "See what you did"?
I screamed so hard. She got terrified. She called my dad. My dad was like, "No, I don't think it's broken. You can still move your toes." So I walked on it for 3 days. And
my God.
All the bones in my all the bones in my ankle separated. So when I finally went to the doctor, they had to shove all of my bones because they didn't want to do surgery if they didn't have to. And my dad had to hold my leg in the air while they shoved all my bones back together.
And did you say to him, "Why are you giving me advice?"
Yes.
You're not a doctor. Shut up.
He was a fireman, and he had done the EMT truck for a while. So he was like, "Yeah, you can move your toes."
Suck it up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's rough.
But I have good broken bone stories. When I shattered this one, the ambulance drivers didn't believe, I was screaming so hard, obviously. And they were like, "Ma'am, there's no bones poking out. You're okay." They bent my arm up to put it in a blow-up floaty thing. Yeah. And then they put me on a stretcher. I didn't have pants on. I made my friend put a skirt on me. It was just the worst. And then they took me on the stretcher down my brick driveway going... And then they must have said something at the hospital because they were like, ma'am, you're going to have to calm down, kind of things. And
Shut up, ma'am.
Yes. And then when they got the x-rays back, they said to my friend, your friend is very hurt.
She can scream all she wants.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Horrible.
That's horrible. I've never broken anything. Thank God.
Oh, God, knock on everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you from originally?
Missouri, Springfield, Missouri.
What was it like growing up there?
It was great. I mean, I had a wonderful family. It was very homogenous. I wasn't exposed to a lot of culture or ethnicities. And actually, how I got into theater, I'll never know because no one in my family... I think my mom had an outside interest in it and then just never did it.
Okay.
So maybe that's where it came from because the first play I was ever in was a high school musical. And it was... What was it? And that starts with P, and that stands for trouble. Trouble in this old town.
Oklahoma?
No, God, no. It's we're both so dumb.
And
there's a marching band, and he comes through the town. Oh my God, people are gonna listen, and they're screaming it.
Oklahoma?
No, you already said that. People are screaming it at us right now. Music Man.
Mary Poppins.
The Music Man. It was Mary Poppins. The Music Man.
Music, of course, I knew that.
And I was in the band. That was all I did.
Right.
And then in, what is wrong with me? I can't remember a single musical.
It's okay.
Tradition.
Oklahoma.
No, God. Anyway, I had one line in that musical. People are also screaming that one at us right now.
Right.
Tevia's in it.
Oh, I don't
Sunrise, Sunset.
Sunrise, Sunset. What is that? I've never seen
Fiddler
it.
on the Roof.
Is it Fiddler on the Roof?
Yes,
Okay.
I got it.
I was going to say Fiddler on the Roof, but I was
Yeah.
like, I've never actually... I saw the movie Fiddler on the Roof. But,
Oh, yeah. I had one line in that.
okay.
And I only got in because I didn't make it when I auditioned. This is where my rejection lesson started.
There we go. What age is this?
14.
Okay.
And my mother made me go every day after school to the choir director and ask if anyone had dropped out so that I could get in.
Okay. Perseverance.
To the chorus. Oh, yeah. Humiliating. And finally, she got so tired of seeing me. She was like, you can join the chorus. And so I got in the chorus.
Hey, it worked.
It worked.
Kind of.
Kind
And your
of.
mom's like, that's also how you get a man. just over and over again.
I don't think she thought I was ever going to get a man.
Really?
She was like, you got to find a way to do something on your own, child. You are not the pretty one.
Oh, no. Did she say that?
Of course not, but that's the
Okay.
message I received. My
Really?
middle sister was like a model. She was gorgeous. So I always felt, people were like, they would say, oh, that baby. Oh, she is going to be a heartbreaker, blah, blah, blah. And they'd go on, and then be like, oh, Dana's standing there.
No.
And they'd be like,
No.
Dana, you're so responsible.
That's terrible. Well, how
Yeah.
many siblings do you have?
Two
Two
sisters, younger. There's 5 years between each of us, so there's 10 years between me and my baby sister.
So you're the oldest one.
Yeah.
All the same parents, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's weird. So what is that? So what does that do to you? Is that rejection too? Like kind of
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
rejected of...
Yeah,
that type of
because
thing?
I know people can't see us, but if you Google me, you'll find, whatever, horrible pictures. Like, I'm not a tiny girl by any means.
Yeah, but I think
And so-
you're still super pretty.
Oh, thanks, EJ.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Of course.
But I think I felt like from a very early age that I was broken, something was wrong with me.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. And then you have your tiny sister.
Tiny, beautiful sister.
rolling around
And
thinking
then the
she's the
baby
shit.
one was super smart. So I was just
Fuck
like
them, right?
middle of the road. Like,
Did you guys get along?
yeah, we did.
Yeah?
Especially now we do. Yeah.
Now?
But even as kids, we all got along.
When you
pretty
were growing up, did you have like resentments towards your siblings because of that stuff?
well. I don't think I realized it till I was older. And then I was kind of like, wait a minute. But, what are you going to do? I have to be my own person and accept who I am. And
Yeah.
I think I've done a good job at that.
You've done great.
And also, I think, like, in school, I made good grades, but not great grades.
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, the super smart kid. I wasn't the super dumb kid. So nobody really I just was invisible my whole life. I actually wrote a screenplay about that. But it's called Flag Girls. It's about a group of girlfriends that feel like they're invisible in high school and decide to change that. But they, I felt like nobody wanted to help me because I wasn't the worst. And nobody wanted to help me because I wasn't the best. I was just sort of middle of the road, invisible. And I felt like that continued into college. I wasn't the cool kid in all the musicals, and I wasn't, the person that
you
they're
don't
like...
even know the names of the musicals. So
no, clearly I shouldn't have been in them. The most popular ones ever. But I think, I always say it lit like this little... This is a bad word.
Go ahead.
It lit this little fuck you flame in my heart. And it's not an angry one. It's just enough to keep me going. Because I say in my head, I'm like, I'll show you. I will make it. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I put myself through college. I worked at a factory to pay my way through college.
What kind of factory?
We built giant circuit boards for like Motorola and NASA and different places like that. So I was running huge machinery, and then I switched to quality insurance and was running electricity. I blew a chunk out of my pinky once running electricity through a circuit board.
Are you serious? Is there a scar?
No, believe it or not. Just a little chunk of my pinky went poof. Out. Just flew off of my body.
Oh my, that's so gross.
It hurt.
I bet it did. Not as much as shattering.
But I worked with a bunch of like Marines, and they thought it was hilarious.
Of course. They've had way worse.
Oh God, yeah. So, but yeah, I worked my way through school. So I always had this little flame going, nope, I'm going to show you all that I'm not invisible. Yeah, and I think I still have that now.
Well, that's what the spotlight is, right? I mean, that's the stage and all that stuff, right? What'd your parents do?
My dad was a firefighter.
Firefighter, right?
And my mom worked for the city.
Did you get paid as a firefighter?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was, I come from a very giant small town.
Okay.
So there's like over 100,000 people, but it's very small town minded. Everybody kind of knows each other. And
Right. And your mom did what? I'm sorry.
My mom worked for the city at a place called Missouri Career Council. So she helped people that lost jobs at factories and stuff learn new skills and write resumes and try and get new jobs.
Are they still together?
They are, yes.
Wow, what is that, 40-something
years?
years?
Years, yeah.
Me too. My parents are like that too.
Yeah.
43, 44 years, something like that.
And I'm always kind of like, how'd you guys make it?
Just
grit.
Grit.
Just grit.
Just do it.
There were times I was like, man, no way.
Just suck it up.
You
don't need to go to the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
Same.
It's not broken. You can move.
Yeah. Same logic, probably.
You're blinking. You're still alive.
You're fine. Yeah. Your sister never broke anything. She's perfect.
She didn't. But my baby sister last year on my birthday, she broke her leg in the Grand Canyon.
As a present to you?
No, it was not a present. My mom called me bawling. I knew my sister was in the Grand Canyon. And she said to me, this is the worst way to make this kind of phone call. She goes, oh, Dana, I don't want to tell you this because it's going to ruin your birthday. And I thought...
Someone died, right?
I thought my sister was dead. I thought she fell in that canyon and died. And I was like, what? Mom, you have to tell me. I know, but I don't want to. I haven't told, told your dad yet. I was like, what is happening? And when she finally told me, I said, is she okay? And she goes, she crawled an hour out of the canyon till the helicopter could get to her. And I was like, okay, don't ever break that kind of news like that again. I thought she was dead.
Did she cry like that to your sisters when you broke your thing?
I doubt it.
Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck?
But I just was like, don't ever make me think that someone died on my birthday.
That's horrible.
Oh, God.
That's like leaving a message. It's your dad. I have terrible news. Give me a call.
Give me a call.
Like, what? Just give me a call?
My dad did that to me constantly
Tell me
in
what's
college.
the problem?
He would say, hey, Dana, it's your dad. Need to talk to you about a couple things. Give me a call. And then I would call and he'd be like, did you check your mail? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought you found beer bottles in my house. Why didn't you just say, did you check your mail?
What's wrong with parents?
I don't know.
Are you, as a parent yourself, are you like doing things different. Like my mom and dad did this. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do it this way.
I'll try to. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything specific?
Well, I try not to yell at Dan Tipton when we're arguing.
And you call your husband Dan Tipton.
I do.
By his full
I
name.
Have, yes.
I don't know why. Do you know why you do that?
Yeah, I think when I first met him, I thought he was so impressive. And I just always called him Dan Tipton to my friends. And then we started dating, and I kept calling him Dan Tipton. And then he moved to LA and was like, I really hope you want to go. That's the weird story of how I got out here. But so I thought he was going to leave me. He thought I was very talented and wanted to get me out of that town. And that once I got out here and on my feet, we were going to split. But we didn't.
That's good.
Yeah. And so I sort of stopped calling him that as much, and then people started calling him Dan Powell because I didn't take his name when I got married. So people just assumed that he was
Dan and Dana.
And so I was like, no, he's got his own identity. He's Dan Tipton. And
I'll show you, and I'll call him Dan Tipton every time.
And then it just is like a habit.
That's so funny.
And everyone calls him Dan Tipton.
I don't.
You don't? No.
I think I just call him Dan.
You do. You just call him Dan. But like all my Sunday Company people and people on that side, like they all call him Dan Tipton.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's got a ring to it.
But I interrupted you because you said Dan Tipton. What were we talking about? What I asked
were we?
Oklahoma.
No, it was not Oklahoma. It was probably me whining about how my sister's so pretty. Oh, I was saying my baby sister broke her ankle in the Grand Canyon.
That.
On my birthday.
I heard that part.
Yeah. And then we were talking about my mom.
All right, we figured it out.
Yeah.
So what do you do different with your son than?
So I try not to argue with Dan Tipton in front of him. I don't know that I'm always successful.
Is there a lot of arguing going on?
No, but you know how like when you get in an argument and it gets heated, you're like, no, this child doesn't need to see that.
Yeah.
So no, we don't argue a lot.
That's
He's
good.
so busy.
Yeah, he's too busy to argue.
He doesn't have time to argue with me.
I don't have time for this. So your parents argued in front of you?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, especially when we were going somewhere.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't go anywhere to somebody's house or to an event or something without there being a fight. Like I told you, the casserole wasn't going to be right. Like something like that.
Something like to make it not fun.
Yes.
My dad was like that. It was like whenever we were traveling or something, it was anxiety. He's an anxiety guy.
Yes.
So it's like, what about this? And this, and do this. And he's just barking
sucks
shit. And
it's
it's
all
like,
the fun out.
no fun.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm traveling with you. Oh, this is great.
Awful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He's still like that. Your parents still like that? Are they retired?
They're retired. Yeah. They're not like that so much anymore. They're just relaxed.
A little bit? That's
yeah,
nice.
That's nice. But Dan Tipton is definitely like an organized schedule guy.
Yeah.
Like his dad was like that to the worst. He still is. But Dan, his job requires like schedule and specifics, and so he's like that sometimes. I definitely say, can't we just have fun a lot? And I'm sure he's like, can't I just be married to a not crazy person?
Well, how'd you guys meet?
We met in college.
What college?
Southwest Missouri State. Mm-hmm. It's Missouri State University now, but John Goodman went there. I don't know if you're familiar.
With him? I'm familiar with him.
Kathleen Turner. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
not really.
Tess Harper.
Kathleen?
Yes, Kathleen Turner.
I actually just saw John Goodman in a play in New York.
Oh, really? He's such a great actor.
It's based on His Girl Friday. What the fuck's the name of it? I forget. I'm not good
Musicals,
at
plays, you don't know.
I forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. But he was very good.
Yeah, he's
very
talented.
Good. I love John Goodman. Have you ever met him?
Yeah, at school. He came to our school a couple times.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. But I wasn't the celebrity of the department, so it wasn't like I was up there getting a lot of face time.
Did you just keep going, just ask again and again and again?
I just was like, I'll do it on my own. I'll just figure it all out myself, which I guess I have. But
were you majoring in theater there?
I was, yeah. And Dan Tipton was a grad student, so he came. It took me 6 years to get through school because I was paying my own way and working multiple jobs.
What kind of jobs?
Well, I worked at the factory, and then I also worked at a hotel, and I also worked at Montgomery Ward. So those 3 I did for a long time. I got fired from a flower shop.
Why is that?
She said that I was a snotty college student and that I made everyone uncomfortable. No one's ever told me that in my life.
What?
She said I made everyone uncomfortable, so she fired me.
What a horrible person.
Yeah, she said I thought I was better than everyone because I was in college. I was like, lady.
Is it true?
No,
Is it true?
God. Yeah, you're right, lady. When I wake up at 4 a.m. to go to that factory, I'm feeling real better than you, the owner of a fancy flower shop.
I hope
So
she
those
feels
are
bad.
she
about it.
doesn't even remember me.
No.
Someday.
Someday, and then you'll get flowers from her.
No, I will not. I'll open my own flower shop that I don't even want. And run her out of business.
It's called Despite Flowers.
Despite flowers.
That'd be funny.
That would. So I met Dan Tipton because he came later, because we're around the same age. He's a little older. I'm really young.
How old is he?
He's
How much older is he?
a year.
Just, okay. Good year.
So he was a grad student. And so when he came in, we were like, oh, this cute boy. He's got his act together. He's a grad student. He's smart. And so all these girls wanted him.
Really?
Which was interesting for him because he would tell you in undergrad he was like super nerd. He went to a school on the East Coast with a lot of rich families and, you know. So, but all these girls wanted him. And I had never dated anyone in the department, which was super weird because it's like a spider web of like starts with a person and then everyone sleeps with everyone off of that. And I was not a part of that. And I'm sure people were like, Dana is weird and asexual. But so when I started dating him, it was a big deal. But I had to like fight off some other ladies for that dude.
Yeah. He's your man.
Yeah, I
You
made
knew.
it very clear. I was like, I like him.
Back the fuck off.
Yes.
Did you date in high school? Did you?
Yeah, I had a boyfriend in
You
high
had a
school.
boyfriend in high school. Okay,
Yeah.
so
He's a very successful opera singer now in New York.
Whoa, what's his name? Did you say?
I guess so. His name was Patrick Hogan.
Okay.
He's a nice guy.
Did he sing to you?
Oh yeah, he sang a lot. He was a child prodigy. He really was. Like his voice was like a man's when he was 14. Beautiful singing voice, very talented.
Did you ever see him like as an adult? Go see him perform?
No, I saw him, in college musicals.
Okay.
And things like that, and because he was a year older than me, so he started college before me, and met the girl who broke us up. And so in that
She
time,
owned a flower store.
she owned a flower shop, and she was like, "You make him uncomfortable." No, but he met this other girl, and I was so dumb. I should have been jealous and been like, no, you can't hang out with her. But I was like, no, he likes me. It's fine. I was so wrong. But anyway, he got married and had 2 children and has had a wonderful life. But and he actually recently remarried another opera singer who I think is also very successful.
All right, interesting.
Yeah,
Do you
very talented.
Stay in touch on Facebook or something?
Yeah, just on Facebook.
That's good.
Not a lot, just,
So you've been with Dan Tipton now, what? How long now?
Oh my
15?
gosh, 19 years if you
19
count the 4 we dated. So we just
Yeah.
celebrated 15 years of marriage this December.
So you got married 4 years into it. Were you in Missouri or out here now?
Missouri.
Or Missouri still.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was the proposal like? How did you do it?
When he proposed, we were out here. So
Okay.
we moved out here, and then I thought he was going to leave me, and I told my parents not to let me come home for a year, that I had to try and figure it out.
What do you mean? Wait,
and-
figure what out?
Life in Los Angeles
In
before
Los
I
Angeles,
turned
okay.
tail and ran.
Were you frightened about?
Oh my gosh, I had never been away from home more than 8 days.
Oh,
Never.
wow.
And I had never been to Los Angeles. I moved here sight unseen.
And you moved here because of Dan.
I moved here, I wanted to see if it would work out, but I also knew I needed to get out of that town. I did feel in my heart that I was talented. Los Angeles was the last place I ever wanted to move.
But you knew you wanted to be an actor, right?
I knew I wanted to be an actor, but I thought I was going to do more theater because I thought, since I'm not Hollywood hottie toddy,
Gotcha.
that I would not do very well here, which I guess I've somewhat proven that wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
like a household name, but I work.
Yeah, you got like 30 credits on IMDb or something.
Ooh, do I? Thank
Yeah.
you.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I wrote a bunch down we'll talk about.
Yeah.
So he moved out for work?
No.
What do you mean?
He moved out because a guy he went to high school with was touring with Les Mis in Germany.
What's that?
And
I'm just kidding.
oh my God, I thought you were serious. I was like, jeez, Lou, do you only read comic books?
I tried to.
And he was 22, 23, and he dropped dead of a heart attack on the sidewalk.
Ooh, oh, God.
And Dan was like, that guy was doing what he wanted to do. I'm selling cars, because Dan was selling cars in my hometown
Like
with a
used
master's
cars or
degree at Acura.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was, at the time, editing the nighttime news, the 6 and 10 o'clock news.
Wow.
And I hated it.
Sure.
I did it because everybody was like, now it's time to get a real job. It's time to, you're not a kid anymore, blah, blah, blah.
Real job stuff.
Oh, my God.
Hate it.
I do, too. And I was like, well, news will seem somewhat parallel to, and I couldn't have been more wrong. It was a nasty environment. I loved the people I worked with, but it was like, why hasn't there been a murder? Kind of. And then
well, it's a small town, right? So it's like not a lot.
Not a lot. Right? And like I would find ways, because I'm a creative, I think naturally. So I would just finding ways to entertain myself, and I kept getting in trouble. I showed I showed a severed hand on the world news for like 2 seconds.
What you like spliced it in editing or something?
Yeah, because I got all of the AP Newswire, so I got all the raw footage. So I was seeing a lot of stuff too that was probably damaging me, if we're being honest. But so I just thought it was fun. It wasn't. I don't know why I thought. I don't know.
So like in a nothing story, you're like, I'll just throw a severed hand.
It was
in there.
like 60 seconds around the world kind of thing.
Right.
So it was like talking about unrest in the Middle East or whatever, and I just flashed a severed hand in.
And that's what you got in trouble for?
I got in trouble for that, and I got in trouble, and this one I'm still not sorry for. George W. Bush came through our town and was campaigning. And so I edited the footage where he picked up a baby and held it in the air. And it was kind of a behind shot so you couldn't see his mouth. So I put in the audio of him going, I gotta tell you, Springfield, I like what I see. As he was holding this baby. And so when that aired, as soon as the news was over, I was like, Dana, get in the office. What are you doing?
What kind of trouble would you get into?
I just got talked to. I mean, they were like, look, you don't want to be here. You got to figure out your life. And my dad still runs into like some of the cameramen and stuff from there, and they always ask how I'm doing.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But Dan said, I got to go, and I really hope you want to go with me. And I was like, okay. And 3 weeks later, with what we had in our pocket and we could fit in our cars, we left.
So, wow, that was really sudden.
Very. Mm-hmm.
Why so suddenly? Why not a little more planning?
Because he said, and I agreed, if we stick around and try and save up money and wait for the right time, we'll never go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just moved out.
Yeah.
Found a place to live, I guess.
Yeah, we stayed with friends, here and there for a little bit until I found a place. And if I'm being honest,
Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm sure my parents know. My sisters have ratted on me, but you can't. It's real tough to move to Los Angeles and live alone.
Yeah.
Like it's expensive. So we weren't married, and I got a place with him, and my parents didn't know, and so.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it was.
All right, get over it, guys.
Well, by the time the third kid rolls around, she's telling them flat out, "I'm going to live in your duplex with my boyfriend."
Yeah.
So, but anyway, at the time I felt, and I didn't want to tell them because I didn't want to disrespect them, and so when they would come,
it's always a thing, right? With parents, you're like, "Fuck it." I know a couple. They're living together, and they can't tell one of their parents about it because they're super traditional.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And but then you're just lying. That was just a lie.
Oh, I know. It's just a lie.
Instead of being like...
And then one of your sisters gets mad and tells them anyway at some point in your life. Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. I think so. That's what I heard.
And then did your parents get mad?
They didn't say anything to me. Because, listen, let's be honest. I've done all right in life.
Yeah. Relax.
Yeah.
But to me, that's like, hey, if you don't like it, that's your problem. That's not my problem.
I know, but I'm such a people pleaser.
Yeah, especially with parents.
Yeah.
Are they religious too? Are they super
religious?
Yeah,
my mom. My dad less, but yeah.
Yeah. And were they strict growing up?
Yeah.
3
girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to say I was going with anyone. I mean, yeah, big time.
So when you had that boyfriend in high school.
Yeah, strict. Definite.
Supervised
Oh
dates.
my God. I remember one of our first dates. We went to see a play, I think. Don't ask me the name.
Les Mis, I got it.
And came I drove because he didn't have a car at the time. And
ooh, winner.
Oh my God, you're so rude. So I dropped him off at his house and we sat in the car and we're talking. And he was so handsome and I just loved him. You know, I just thought he was great. My freaking mom pulls up beside the car and is like, Dana, you are 30 minutes late for your curfew. Your dad is going to have a cow, because my dad was a fireman. And so he worked 24-hour shifts, so he wasn't home, but she knew he was going to call. And I was like, Mom, this is so embarrassing. Because I wanted to kiss this boy.
Is that opera singer?
The opera singer,
him?
Yes.
My, hear him sing.
I can't believe you drove up next to our car in the dark.
And men can't have cows.
Oh my God. It was a nightmare.
I should find you. Just I guess there's only a few spots. I guess,
yeah,
to go.
She knew we'd either be at the little theater or at his house.
That's so funny. That is so funny. Do you think your younger sisters got away with more? Because the first one always is the strictest, right?
Oh, yes. To this day, they get away with more. Yes.
Well,
yes.
They're all adults now, right?
Yeah, well.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because, let's see, 10 years younger, the youngest is, 29 or something now.
Oh, you're very nice. Right? Yeah, close.
30?
Yeah.
30.
31.
31, okay. I'm 41. Are you 41 too?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't care. I don't think I look 41.
I think you look great. I think I look like 23.
I always say too, you do look 23. You look very young. My middle sister.
When I buy alcohol, I shove my ID into the people's faces.
You do?
I go, read it. Read it now.
Hilarious. I always thank them. If they ask me for my ID,
they don't even ask me.
Thank you.
They don't even bother asking.
But my middle sister, she struggles with aging. She's terrified of aging, and I'm like, I couldn't care less, kind of.
The one that was like, oh,
so
you're
pretty.
so pretty.
I never relied on my looks for anything, so I'm like, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Well, I think you look great.
Oh, thanks.
For whatever that's worth to you.
Thank you.
I'd like to see some ID.
Oh, thank you. What am I getting for it?
So I'll give you a beer. Or something,
oh, okay, cool.
That's so funny. So your parents were but your youngest sister, when did she get away? Are they all married now?
No, my youngest sister's not married. My middle sister, no, not right now. Not right now. My middle sister, she's been married more than once, but she's currently not married.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah.
She's tried it out. Give it a shot.
Yep.
How many times? Oh, okay.
So,
not
her fault.
It's a small town. Are they all in the same town?
She's in a small Oklahoma town, like a lake town.
Okay.
Her first marriage was 7 years. Her second one was 7 or 8. So it's not like she's been going back to back. But she actually was a victim of domestic violence in her last marriage, and that's why.
Well, yeah, you gotta get out of that.
You gotta get out of it. Yeah.
You can't make it work for that one.
No.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
She could do better.
Yes.
She could do better.
And I'm proud of her for speaking up and not accepting that. I know it's hard sometimes, women. Yeah. It's hard for you to shut your love. It was very unexpected. There was no history of that. Nobody expected it.
Just out of nowhere, the guy just
out of nowhere, and really, really injured her.
Oh,
and
no.
So I'm really proud of her for being able to say, no, that I can't stand for that, because it's even for her was hard to just shut off your love for a person instantly. We don't work that way as humans,
Yeah. So there's one incident that we know of.
Yes.
And then she walked. She's like, I'm not waiting for two.
Yeah, and she said flat out, that's the only time he's ever put his hands on me.
Wow.
But
good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. Oh, yeah. I hope that guy's getting some help.
Yeah, I hope he's going to get some jail time.
Oh, well.
It's all in court. We'll see what happens.
Oh, shit. Well, how bad was the injury?
It was bad.
Really?
Yeah, he busted up her face real bad.
Oh, shit.
A lot of surgery. My mom said when she went to clean up, the injury site, that he must have let her lay there for a long time. There was a lot of blood, and So, yeah.
Your mom doesn't call you crying about that? Did she call you crying about that?
No,
one?
because I think she was worried that my sister wanted to keep it under wraps and be a secret. And she hasn't actually. She even posted about it on social media, which my parents were less than happy about. But I actually said I was really proud of her for being a voice to speak up and say, this is not okay.
Of course.
And it, especially in a small town where she lives, it probably happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I was proud of her for saying it's okay to speak up and say this is not right.
Yeah, it's important.
out.
You got to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that generation of our parents is like, why are you,
Everything's secret.
why are you doing that? Like
Yeah.
when I was online dating, after a little while, I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to put everything about my blindness on there.
Oh, yeah.
And I just put it all out there. And my mom's like, why are you doing that? Don't do that. And I'm like,
Why?
Mom,
It's who you are.
I know. Well, not only that, but I have to tell them at some point.
Right. Yeah.
And then it gets like super awkward. Like,
Yeah.
I was being dishonest. I felt like I was being dishonest.
Right. That
up
you
front.
didn't tell them up front.
Like if one of them is a murderer, like,
Right.
just tell me
Just-
before we go on the date.
They're not going to, though.
Let me just let me know that. Let me make my own decision of like, do I want to get involved with that? You know what I mean?
Well, they're not going to tell you because you're probably their next victim.
Exactly.
I
don't need
listen
that.
and watch a lot of murder shows. But I can help you out with that.
All right, I might be exaggerating with the
Yeah.
murder stuff. But
No, but I hear what you're
Yeah,
saying.
you
You
know
have
what
to
I mean?
let them know.
yeah, my brother hid it from his wife, soon to be ex-wife. He hid it from her for like years.
Wow.
For years. And I was like, she doesn't know? Like, I didn't know she did. She knew about me.
Yeah.
And I go, no, I haven't told her. I was like, Carol, how can you not? It's
My
been like
mom
3
hid an
years.
illness from us girls for 6.5 years. We just found out last year. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Can you say what it is? Or?
Yeah, she has kidney failure,
Oh, God.
kidney disease.
Oh, no. Like, she just doesn't want, I don't want to be a bother.
But I told her I think that's an excuse because people always say, oh, I didn't want to worry you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's an excuse because what you didn't want is for me to say, you need to get help.
Yeah.
And here's how, like, you didn't want
And I
that.
want help.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
weird.
scary. That's weird. Even like my mom growing up, her father was blind, my grandfather, and they lied about why he went blind.
Why? What did
I
they
don't know.
say?
They said he got injured in a hunting accident.
Because they thought it was like a genetic weakness?
I don't know what they thought. I think eventually they figured out it's like more of a genetic thing, but then I think they just pushed it out of their mind like, let's just not talk about it, and
Right.
probably nothing will happen to future generations,
Ugh.
which was wrong.
Was
Very
clearly,
wrong.
Yeah.
If you're not a doctor, don't make medical decisions.
Don't say get up and walk.
just,
If you're not a
just
doctor.
spray
and
it with Windex. It's
you're-
fine.
I'm spraying my broken bones with Windex
Yeah.
and you're spraying your eyes with Windex.
Yeah, and it burns.
Yeah.
It burns
It's not
terribly.
good and it helps nothing.
I'm pretty sure it's worse.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
What a stupid generation. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say, but I get there's a lot of good things about that generation, but that stuff.
They're very private. And, I would say that you and I are sort of in the middle of that because I'm not as open as a lot of people. Like my younger sisters are much more willing to be open publicly on social media and stuff like that. And I have this weird, because
You're
of
the
what I
oldest too,
do.
though. So you have like 10 years.
So
10 years.
because of what I do have to be trying to get out there a little more,
Right.
but I don't really want to, but I'm not as like my parents. Like, don't you think we're in a position where we're like, yeah, I'm okay with being open about most things, but not
Yeah.
everything. Kids nowadays, everything.
There is like that younger. They'll just tape everything, recording
Everything.
and posting everything. And,
Everything.
I mean, I'll post stuff, but I'm not like doing crazy shit either.
Yeah, no, me either.
I'm not doing like, I don't know what, like setting myself on fire or something. I don't
Right,
know, you know?
right.
Or posting dick pics.
Yeah,
like,
no.
hey, check me out.
Right. I think you would get in trouble for that. Why did you grunt?
What do you mean?
Like,
well, that's what
when you post the picture, why do you?
No, I would I
That
take.
was the sound effect of the picture?
Oh, when I take the picture,
Yeah.
I go. When
Is
I
that
post
your-
it, there's
it's
no
a-
sound effect to
The
post it.
vocal flex you're doing?
Yeah, you don't know that?
No.
It's a guy thing.
Yeah, I've never taken a dick
Check
pic.
it. But the post it on Instagram, no sound effects.
Yeah, no, of course. Because that would be weird. That would make it weird. Your dick pic for Instagram.
You coached me for a while. I asked you to coach a team I put together for a while. That was a lot of fun.
Was I good?
You were great. You couldn't make a rehearsal one time, and you had Eric Stonestreet fill in.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was slightly traumatic.
That is not surprising to me.
But Eric wasn't on Modern Family yet or any of that stuff. He was just improvising once in a while. I saw him. You guys did a show together called Big, right? Big? Is it Big?
He coached Big. He was a guest a couple of times, and then he coached Big for a little bit.
I saw him improvise a few times.
And then he and I have done things together over the years.
Yeah, you guys are pretty close. Okay.
Yeah.
And so he comes in, and I'm like pretty excited about it. I'm like, oh, cool. And he tells us to do a scene, and he doesn't sit down. He paces. He doesn't look at you, and he like starts pulling like his hair. Like he starts like putting his hands through his hair like he's stressed out about something, right? And then he goes, okay, stop. And then like he'll go, that was good. I'm like, clearly it was not good.
You don't feel that. Your body doesn't feel that way.
Whatever. And he did that for like the whole 2-hour session or whatever. And I was like, boy,
wow.
I don't think he liked us.
And I am such a cheerleader. It was probably
you were great.
I'm like, you guys awesome. Like always.
Yeah.
So it must have been shock.
It was a little shock. I was like, I don't think he gets us.
Do you follow him on Instagram?
Yes.
Did you see the post he made about me the other day?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not that closely.
Basically, he made the internet believe that I'm a topless maid.
How do you do that?
He texted me and said, because we are close, so we talk quite a bit, and I play his sister on the show. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and I helped him move years ago. Like how you helped Matt Besser. Like that's how long we've been. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway.
Besser and I are not close.
Oh. But he said, just the text I got was, bring me soup. And I said, no. Okay. And he said, but I want soup. And I said, nope. And he said, where are you? And I said, at home. And he said, so leave and bring me soup. And I said,
why is he?
I said, it's Sunday. No. And I said, I'm cleaning and I may not get dressed today. So no. And so he clipped that conversation and put it on Instagram. His social media reach is insanity. He has like 1.7 million just on Instagram alone or something, crazy. So he put that on Instagram. And so basically I think like half the world thinks I'm a topless maid for Dan Tipton.
Could be worse.
I mean,
that's not so bad. But what's funny is like he's like, bring me soup. Just like, oh, okay, I'm on my way. What kind would you minestrone?
No, never.
I mean, I wonder how many people he texted saying, I need soup.
Yeah, probably 17 of us, and we all said no.
Somebody had to give in.
Maybe, I don't know. I also dropped something at his house the other day, and he's got cameras, you know. And so usually if I drop something by his house or come by his house, even just a visitor or whatever, later I will receive wretched pictures of myself from the cameras. Right. And so the other day I was like, I'm just going to give him what he wants. And so I made a horrible face. I was like, in the camera. And he posted that on Facebook and said,
I saw that one.
Yeah, Dana runs my errands for me. Can you explain what's going on? I'm like, yeah, I don't run your errands. And you always send me horrible pictures of myself. So I gave you something to come home to.
Give me soup.
Yeah, no.
Would you get me soup?
No. I'm sorry. I
what
like
about
you.
On a Saturday when you're dressed?
Yeah, no. No, you live far from me. If you lived next door, I'd bring you a can of soup. You'd have to warm it yourself. But
an expired can.
No, I would make sure it was one of those flip pop kinds, so you wouldn't even have to get out a can opener.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Big heart.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you meet Mr. Stonestreet?
He's
an Emmy winner.
Yes. From Modern Family. He plays Cam. I met him. I started doing Improv Olympic, and Jairus, do you remember her? She was my teacher.
No, that might be a little before my time.
And she was good friends with him.
Okay.
And she said to me, she thought I was very talented, And she said, I have this friend that I think you could learn a lot from. I feel like you're similar types, character actors. You should call him and try and sit down and pick his brain. And so I did. And the first time we met up at, it used to be called Sit-ins. And now I think it's like the North Hollywood Cafe or whatever over on Magnolia.
Okay. And
we just talked and we just hit it off. We were like brother and sister right away. And in the best and worst ways. And so I that's how I met him. And then occasionally he would sub for Jairus as a coach. And, we just became friends and we've been friends ever since.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did he help get you the job on Modern Family?
He definitely said, that he thought we would work well together. People told him from the second he got that role, like, you and Dana should play brother and sister someday, because we have he is like a big brother to me. We have such a gnarly up
Give
and
me
down.
soup.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have good chemistry together comedically, I think. And so when the time came that they wanted to introduce a sibling for him, I know that he mentioned it for sure. He had been talking about it, and I know one of the writers had mentioned me, and so I think he probably had some say, but actors don't have that much pull. He definitely would have more pull than most normal actors because that show's so successful, but I think I had to kind of get it on my own a little bit too.
Did you get it through a casting agent or something like that?
Yeah, I know that I think he said he wanted them to bring me in, and this writer wanted them to bring me in, and then my agents also submitted, so I was bombarding them.
That's
I
good.
think, yeah,
that's good.
And then my first audition did not go great.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because Eric told me. He watched the tape.
Oh, really?
And he was like,
He posted it on Instagram.
No, God, no. He was like, yeah, that was not great. I mean, you did good enough to get a call back, but to fix it,
Oh, my God.
So I guess I did. But I think, I'm sure he had some say. But I think to continue to keep coming back, I think I had to have proved myself in some way,
Yeah. Well, you clearly have. You've been on 5 times or something now, right?
Yeah.
He stopped me in an Apple store once.
Oh,
I
really?
was signing up for something, and he tapped my shoulder, and I turned around and it was there. And I don't know him that well, so it was
That's
nice
so
of him
nice.
to stop and say hi to me and stuff,
He's got a heart of gold. He's a grizzly bear with a heart of gold. On the outside, I think some people find him abrasive at times.
Well, when he's coaching.
Yes, when he's coaching, he's clearly horrible. There was a show he was coaching for, I don't know what team it was, but Amy Procacci and Ben Dickerson and some people were on it. And I was up in the balcony near him, and he threw, I think, an orange at Amy on stage.
Oh, my God, did I hear about that?
I'm sure you did. It's legendary. There wasn't really anyone in the audience, but it was why did you feel it was okay? He's like, there was nobody there, and it wasn't a good scene.
Oh, well, you sat in on some Herald team auditions.
Yes.
Those are hard.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh man, this sucks. I mean, and it feels similar. You feel like you're getting oranges thrown at you sometimes.
Yeah. It sucks too. I've been on both sides of that table, and it's when you're auditioning, you just want it so bad, and a lot of times you're thrown together with people. At least in my time, you were thrown together with people you didn't know.
Yeah.
And not everyone believes in a good give and take in a situation like that. And then at the table, at least for me, I was always thinking, these people have been working really hard to get here. They really want this.
Yeah.
And some of you just are not going to be able to get it.
Why me? You looking
Not
at me?
you, no.
What are did I ask this? What are your sisters doing now, work-wise?
One of my sisters works for Mercy Hospital.
Okay.
And she works, it's more of an administrative position. I think she orders supplies for the hospital or something.
Okay.
It's a great job.
That's the younger one?
The younger one.
Okay.
And the middle one works at a pharmacy as a tech.
Okay. And the younger one's, where's she at?
She's in Springfield, where my parents still are. And the middle one's still in Oklahoma. Yeah.
In Oklahoma, in small towns.
Yeah.
Do you feel I feel like I run into a lot of, including myself, of people, most of the people we know stay in the places we grew up in. and we just kind of got out.
Yes, definitely.
You know?
I have a giant family, and I'm the only one who ever moved away.
Do you feel weird going back? I feel weird going back.
Sometimes, yeah. I didn't used to, but slowly I started realizing they thought I was weird. Like things about me had changed, and then I started noticing, oh yeah, I don't feel the same way about, obviously political things and stuff like that. It's tough, but like,
Trump.
I'm not. Yeah, my family, thank God, was not a Trump supporter.
Really?
I'm sure you have Trump supporting listeners, but I was not, and
In my family, I had Trump supporters in my family.
Really,
Yeah.
It's so tough. This is the first time I've had a hard time like not judging people based on. Like, if you think that his behavior is okay, I'm thinking differently.
Well, I don't know. I think they go, well, I don't like Hillary, so I'll vote Trump or whatever. But I'm still like, that's still not okay. That's still actually not okay. And like, where I'm from, like Long Island, I looked it up after the election, what the election results were on Long Island, and 52% of voters voted for Trump on Long Island. So, which I feel every time I go on Long Island.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I was posting stuff anti-Trump after the election, I was getting the most hate criticism I was getting was from guys I went to high school with.
Yeah.
And that I haven't seen in 20 years. And I'm like, but you're still on Long Island. I remember you as a racist and as a teenager. So I'm going to unfriend you
changed,
now.
yeah.
Bye-bye. That stuff's pretty scary now.
Yeah. Even little things I noticed too, like I'm not a vegetarian, but I, in the last few years, have struggled with.
What? Vegetarian? You want to be a vegetarian?
I wish I just love meat, but I do have some issues with it. And so there are some, like I'm trying not to eat piggies. I'm trying piggies.
Oh, piggies.
Yeah, I'm trying really hard not to eat
Pork,
piggies.
okay.
Yeah, they're delicious. But I love them, and
they're so cute.
They're so cute, and they're sentient beings and smart. And anyway, so I'm trying not to. I've never eaten like lamb or veal, or I don't know what the delineation is in my brain of what is okay to eat and what's not, but it's there. Right. So anyway, like my sisters make fun of me and say. I also read some writings by Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Buddhist, and he talks about like being careful about what you put in your body, visually, audibly, like your food, you know, what you listen to, all of these things. And one of the things he said about your food is one of the reasons he doesn't eat meat is, they're so scared when they go in to be slaughtered and they release this adrenaline, and it's almost like you're physically ingesting fear, which makes sense to me.
So you gotta surprise them and.
Oh my God.
You get them when they're not looking.
I'm not looking for justification.
Feed them their favorite food, and while they're eating, kill them.
Oh my God! I'm not looking for the better way to murder.
Why a Buddhist? Are you a Buddhist?
I'm not. But I just loved some of his teachings, and so my sisters tease me now. They're like, "Oh, be careful, Dana doesn't want to eat baby fear meat." And so those are the things that I realize are different now. Oh, are you okay eating this, Dana? There might be some baby in there that's real scared.
Oh, man. I guess you told them what you just
told
me.
Because my sister was like, I make these meatballs and there's a secret ingredient. And I was like, oh, God. Is it like lamb or veal or something? Because I don't want to. And she was like, why? So then I had to tell them. And so now when we get even like a breakfast sandwich at McDonald's, they're like, oh, Dana doesn't want piggies. Oink, oink.
They're still children. It's like still a
sibling. God, when we get together,
That's so funny.
We always have a bathroom photo shoot of ridiculous faces. Okay. I don't know why we go to the bathroom. My baby sister's always in charge of it. And she's always like, let's go to the bathroom. It's good lighting. My sisters are, in a lot of ways, especially with humor, we all sound identical. I could pop one of them in here right now and nobody would know
like
it wasn't
voice-wise?
me. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then humor-wise, we're identical.
Similar.
And so I think I'm funny, I guess, because they make me laugh so hard.
Did any of them ever have an interest in improvising or comedy or acting or any of that?
My middle sister, she did more dramatic acting in like high school and stuff, but she always felt like she was being compared to me. And so she kind of stopped. But I will say lately, I've been talking to her a lot about doing stand-up because she uses her social media to post like funny. I said, if you lived out here, everyone would say you were practicing your stand-up on us, you know. But she's funny.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of trying to say, hey, why don't you try and do some open mics in Oklahoma? You know, she's funny.
I bet you could get stage time. I bet it's easier.
She
to
could probably get stage
time
time and a TV show before I ever do.
Then she could cast you as her sister.
Me. Oh God, I wish.
Well, you've had some successes here, though.
I have, yeah. I'm very lucky.
You've done well. I'll read off some credits.
Oh, God.
Reno 911.
That was my first, yeah.
Did 2 episodes. How was that? I love that
Oh,
show.
my God, so fun.
Who'd you work with?
Tom Lennon. Amazing.
I met him for the first time recently, a couple months ago.
So nice, so
like
kind, so funny and giving in a scene.
And that's like mostly an improvised show.
It is.
Right?
We shot, that was basically one take.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The first time?
Yeah. Except when I went into the room and came out. We had to cut for me to go into the room and then come out, you know. But other than that, when we were in hair and makeup, he was like, I don't really like to rehearse. Are you cool with that? And I was like, sure. So we just did it.
What was the premise? Is there like bullet points you have to hit?
Yeah, definitely. They said, you guys are both auditioning for American Idol. And at some point, you're going to go into that room and come out and you will have made it to Hollywood. And that's all I knew. So
That's it.
That's it.
That's fun.
And you know who was in that?
Who?
You know that guy that's a background actor that's in everything, and somebody made a big compilation video of him. He's got curly hair and glasses. He's kind of dorky looking, and he's ageless.
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
You should Google it. He's like the most famous background actor ever.
Really?
He's been in everything, and he's so identifiable.
No shit.
I can't remember
It's
his
like
name.
Waldo.
Yes.
Finding Waldo.
And he was in my tiny Reno 911 scene.
I love that you're so excited about
I was so excited. I made the compilation video for him.
You're in the video.
I am,
that's funny. You're like, hey, did that fall again?
Something did, yeah. It's fine. I'm just going to leave it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who's it? I'm like thinking, who comedy you are, like a big comedy person. The famous extra with the glasses.
He's so identifiable.
And you did Make a Mullally show. I don't remember that show.
You know,
Is that a variety show?
Yes, Wendy and Drake, our friends who are married, they wrote on that show for her, and so I came on and did some little comedy bits. She had a talk show for a millisecond.
Oh my God! Wait, it's coming back to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the interesting thing about that is I did a promo for that show where they were like, hey, we think we might be able to Taft-Hartley you. And I had been out here for many years and was not SAG.
Right.
And they were like, are you afraid of snakes? And of course I said, no.
Because you're not.
No. Until I got there and they were like, okay, we have 2 snakes. We're not sure which ones we're going to use yet because we want to see which one's a little slower. Because as they warm up, they're going to get really fast. So one of them is 10 feet long. One of them's 12 feet long. They were like these boas, African boas or something. He had like this, huge. And they were like, we're going to put it in this tiny picnic basket. And you're going to open the basket and you have to grab it quick because as they warm up, he's going to shoot out of there.
Oh my God. What are they? What? That's
and
like for professional wranglers. That's not
like, okay.
Grab it
so
quick.
You better believe when that basket lid came open, I was like snatching the neck of that thing, and it filled my hand.
Oh my God.
You know, and
those things are all muscle.
All muscle.
And strong.
Oh,
Shit.
so strong. So strong. And I had to say my line, and then Megan was going to come in and say hers or whatever. And so the wrangler told me, just so you know, do not breathe. Don't get in his face. Don't breathe in his face because he'll feel the warmth and he will think that you're prey. They don't see very well. I was like, okay, I got it. So Megan Mullally comes out. The first thing she does, she like squats on her knee, puts her hands on her knees and gets in the face of this snake and goes, hi. And I was like, no. And the wrangler came over like lightning and was like, please get out of his face. And I was like, God. I'm going to go down as the girl who killed Megan Mullally with a snake to the face.
And then I will take over the show.
So that's how I got SAG.
Oh, that's funny. You didn't get it from Reno? That's
No.
funny. Because that's a speaking part and stuff. I met Megan Mullally very briefly at Second City once. She was watching her brother-in-law do a sketch show.
Oh, cool. She's nice.
She was super nice, and she was like waiting. It was just me and her in like the lobby. I was interning, and I knew it was her. Of course, I didn't say I know who you are or anything. I was like, hey, how's the show? I was just being casual. She, it's good. It's good. We just talked a little bit, and I was like, well, she's super nice.
Yeah,
super nice. I liked her a lot. Beep or beep. Emily's Reasons Why Not with Heather Graham. You did an episode of that. Did you get to work with Heather Graham?
I did. Yeah, I did like 3 or 4 episodes. But it was at the time, this happens a lot now, but at the time it went down in television history as the fastest canceled show ever. So they showed
1 episode, 2 episodes?
1 episode, the pilot. That was it. And I was not in the pilot. I was in 3 episodes after the pilot.
Did you ever see your episodes?
I got some video of it. Okay. A friend of mine worked over in the offices and got it for me, so it was fun to see. But apparently I got a residual check once from like somewhere in Spain. It showed like
it's huge in Spain.
Huge. I'm so famous in Spain.
Well, what was Heather Graham like? I love her.
She was a delight.
Was she? Oh, good.
Yeah, and she was. You see her on screen, you're like, oh my God, she's beautiful. In person, she was like a glowing angel.
Right.
I was like, you are proof that God has favorites. It's unreasonable how beautiful you are.
She can't improvise for shit, though.
God's like, shit. You are going to look like a walking angel, Heather Graham, but Dana, you're going to be real funny. Burp, burp.
You could do Reno 911. Bridesmaids, of course. And you walked. Paul Feig directed that one.
Yes, yeah.
Did he direct you?
He did, yeah.
He seems like the nicest guy.
Super nice. And funny and fun.
What's so like the set must be real light.
It was. To some extent. I mean, we shot for script and then we got to improvise. I just got so spoiled because I was, like you said, I worked with Melissa, with Kristen, Wendy, Ellie Kemper.
I love Ellie Kemper.
Yeah, and Mitch and Ben. And so all of us were friends. So we were it was basically like doing an improv show at a certain point on a huge plane fuselage.
Did you get to improvise?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like the whole thing, you think? Pretty much?
Some of it that ended up in the film is scripted, but like some of the stuff between me and Kristen, like her dirty look to me and stuff, that was in the trailer, that was improvised, and a lot of between her and Mitch, because they kind of came up together at the Groundlings, was improvised. Right. But my audition with her was the best because that was completely improvised, and we were doing this scene, and we were...
With Melissa?
With Kristen.
Oh, you
I auditioned with her.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And met Judd there, and he couldn't have been kinder.
Judd
Apatow.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm Dana. And he was like, I know who you are at the audition. And I was like, you do? Because they had watched videos and stuff, He was so nice. But so she and I did this scene, and we kept getting closer and closer, our faces, until the last 30 seconds of the scene, we were touching noses and lips as we talked.
In the audition?
Yes. The entire rest of the scene was just like this. And I thought, I'm such a weirdo. That's amazing to me. And I thought how great that she was willing to go there too. I was a stranger to her. Yeah. They had a lot of...
You got the kiss Kristen Wiig kind of.
I guess so. I guess so. Talkie kiss.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But she was so just open to going anywhere.
That's so cool. I love her too. Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
2 Broke Girls, 2 episodes of 2 Broke Girls.
Yes.
Was that good?
It was fun.
Did you work with the girls? The 2 Broke
I did,
girls?
yeah. And it was, they hadn't found out if they were going to get another season yet, and they found out that day, so they were really excited.
Oh,
and
good.
It was fun. But
they're not so broke.
Right, exactly. But they, I remember I worked with, do you know Matt Cook?
No,
he's a groundling now, but he was, he's younger than me. But anyway, we worked together, and that was very fun. And I remember overnight they had changed the script. So when we got ready to rehearse, which in a, comedy like that, you're rehearsing and the executives are there and the showrunner and everybody. And I looked at the script and I said, this is not what I learned. And Matt was like, what? They sent out a new script last night. And I was like, I didn't get a new script last night. Yeah. So I was cramming to memorize, the lines. Oh, it was terrifying.
Yeah, you gotta.
Nobody wanted to eat me at that point because I released a lot of adrenaline, and I would have been Dana Fear meat to consume.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, I guess that stuff happens.
It does, yeah.
Happens a
It
lot.
just
Even
happens.
like Deborah, she'll be like, they still haven't sent me scripts or what
Yeah.
time to be, and I'm like, Jesus.
She is so successful.
I know, and yet she's like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that, and but you know, I guess that just
It's
happens.
just how it goes.
She hates that stuff. She hates
Yeah.
that stuff. I would hate it too, but I'm like, well, I'm an improviser, so if they just say make up your lines, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
You know, Bob's Burgers. That's cool. You did Bob's.
I did
Burgers.
one episode, yeah, for Wendy.
That's cool. Do you want to do?
I want to do more of that so
more
badly.
voiceover stuff?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and make it a goal this year.
Yeah. Oh, good.
They are incredible. Like when I went on that show, I was like, oh my God, I'm so out of my league.
Why?
It's a different set of skills. They improvised a lot anyway, and they're so funny and comfortable. But like
You're all together?
well, the way this particular episode went, and the people in Los Angeles, we were all together. And then there were people in New York, and we were on headphones. I don't know if that's the way they do it always, but that's the way my episode went.
No kidding.
It was amazing.
That's crazy. I'd never even heard of
It
that.
felt like being at my own private Bob's Burger show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So would you read through the episode
Yeah.
more or less and just no shit.
That's how we did it, yeah.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that. The Office, like my favorite show
So
ever.
fun.
And I just rewatched the whole series.
You
just
did?
recently. Yep. And I
My
saw it again.
episode, Ed Helms directed.
What was that like? What was he like as a director?
It was interesting. It was the first time I think he was directing. And so he was very, focused on other things, whereas normally between scenes and stuff, the actors are kind of hanging out, chatting or whatever. So I didn't get as much one-on-one with him as I probably would have if he wasn't directing. But it was really interesting to watch him figuring out his way, and it was cool.
Yeah. Who else did you work with in that episode?
Ellie Kemper. Which I had already knew her from Bridesmaids, so that was fun. And also she's from St. Louis.
Yeah, she's smart. She didn't do like Groundlings or something, did she? No.
I don't think so.
No. That's cool. So she seemed like the nicest person.
She's so
on the
down to
planet.
earth and friendly.
And
yeah.
that's true. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
that's nice. Who else did you work? Anybody else?
Yeah, I actually worked with Zabeth.
Oh, in that episode?
Yeah.
Why don't I remember that?
It was a group of us women at a bachelorette party in a cabin.
right.
And
That's
so
right.
she shouted out a few things, but there were several of us, and I kind of was the one that was the most annoying and visible. So, but she was in that.
I must have missed Beth in it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Beth is hilarious.
Yeah.
Arrested Development.
Yeah, that was fun.
You got like all these cool credits. What? Who'd you work with on that one?
The mom, what's her name?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Though.
Oh God.
Oklahoma.
Oh no. She was in Clint Eastwood's movie.
Harry.
Oh my gosh. Everyone hates us now. They just turned off the podcast.
Well, they're gonna miss out. It's their loss. What?
It was just her and I.
Just her and you. Okay. How was that? Was there improvising on that set? Is
A
there
little
really?
bit. A little bit. Yeah.
Who's
It's the
directs
same
that?
with VEEP. I don't remember. I'm so bad at remembering
That's
all
okay.
this stuff. But it's the same with VEEP too. Like where Reno is just like go. At least my episode was.
Right.
VEEP, like there's definitely kind of a script, and then you get room to play around a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah, because
And
the
so-
way it's edited too, you could tell there's so much
Playing.
playing
Yeah.
around, and they're just they're cherry picking. Things,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, what was the audition like for Veep?
Oh, it was so cool. This is maybe the coolest story I have.
With Julia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I remember
the same
I
day.
actually remember you years ago talking about this.
You do?
I think so.
The same day, I had a chemistry read with Eric for Modern Family to get the role of Pimaron.
That's right.
And then
you
I
nailed this,
drove
too.
over and improvised and auditioned with Julia. Yeah.
And I think I saw you like that night or when you
it was
just heard.
the craziest day, and I got both of
You
them.
got both of them. You were so happy.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So what was did you kiss Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
I didn't. No, I
No
didn't.
kissing?
No, she was in a chair in front of me.
So she sat in a chair.
With the producers and everybody. Yeah.
And she's improvising from a chair.
Yeah, with me.
And you're
But
like-
it was fine because, we were like in a scene together.
That's so interesting. Oh my gosh.
It was amazing. She's funny. And she
She's so
also
funny.
too is open to whatever. Like
Yeah.
but there's a sense of power with her.
Yeah.
Like, if she wasn't so nice, you'd be terrified of her.
Yeah,
but not because she's mean, just like you sense it. She's just powerful.
She's tiny, too.
And she's teeny and adorable. Teeny and adorable.
She's petite. Hello, Ladies. I love that show.
Yes.
That was short-lived. But it was so good.
It was. I loved it. I love Stephen Merchant. He's so nice and giant.
He's a giant.
Yes.
He's the anti-Julia Louis-Dreyfus. He's gigantic. He's like 6'8" or something.
Yeah. He came in, he peeked his head in at one point because we were shooting in this like office room, and so Video Village was outside of the room, and he was like giving notes or whatever to shoot again, and he was like, very funny, and I was like, I was so excited because I love, Stephen Merchant and Ricky Gervais. I just think they're geniuses.
Did you tell them did you tell them I did an episode of The Office?
I don't think I had done it yet.
Oh, okay.
And also I didn't want to be like a weirdo.
Yeah.
But he sat down and had lunch with us.
That's nice.
And I got to talk to him about his family, and like he was just really nice.
I gotta get him on here.
Oh, he's funny.
I love him. I thought that show was so good. And Kyle Mooney on the show. Who'd you work with on the show?
I worked with Krista Flanagan.
Okay.
And we ended up on a show together later, playing sisters.
Which show?
It was called Clipped.
Yeah,
with Ashley Tisdale. So I worked with her and Nate. Or Nathan, the other guy that played his cohort.
Okay.
I had never met him before, but we know tons of mutual friends because he kind of came up through the Groundlings for a little bit too. And that guy is funny, man. Yeah.
They're all pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then you, Mom, you did an episode of Mom.
I did an episode of Mom and met Allison Janney. I worked with Anna. It was her and I had the scene. We had so much fun talking because she had just gone to her high school reunion, and I had gone to mine like a few months before, so we were just talking about that and how weird it is. And
that is weird.
Yeah.
How was yours?
Mine was fine because I'm not like huge and famous or anything, and it was not very many people turned out, so I just actually ended up having a good time. But for her, I think it's probably a little different because she's such a mega star. Yeah.
Well, mine was weird just because out of like a couple hundred people that graduated, like 20 showed up.
That was how mine was too.
Yeah. And it was mostly people that became lawyers and doctors. But most of them some of them I didn't remember at all. Some I barely knew, and it was very awkward. I would not go back and do it again. I think because of Facebook, people aren't that curious.
Yeah, because you can see what everybody's doing.
You're doing this, and you like Trump and
stuff like that.
So you worked with Allison and Anna?
I did not work with Allison, but she made a point of coming over to me and telling me that I did a great job, and I made her laugh at the table read, which was so cool because she is incredible. Yeah. She's great on that show, but I had also just seen her on Masters of Sex, which she was phenomenal on. So I was freaking out.
Her and Bridges. Bo Bridges. And they had like the best... I love their relationship the most out of the whole show.
That show, I love that show anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Artemis was on there. Yep. She was great.
I want to get her on here too. Talk about that. Clipped. Yeah, Clipped. You did 8 episodes. How was that? It got canceled, unfortunately. That was on TBS?
TBS, yeah. It was really fun. It was the creators of Will and Grace, which was really cool.
Nice.
And Ashley, everyone in the cast was really great. She's so down to earth, like, as far as her work ethic.
Okay.
She's a hard worker.
Yeah, that's good.
Always was working on her lines, never was jerking around, like just really great. And then the rest of the cast was fairly young except for Norm from Cheers, George Wendt. Yeah. Aww. Which was amazing to get to meet him.
My girlfriend and I love Cheers. I introduced her to Cheers, and she rewatches the show like a few times.
Funny.
And we were just watching a bunch of episodes, and I'm like, George Wendt.
He's so great. I worked with him, and what's his name? He wasn't on as often. He was more of a guest star that played his husband on the show, but he was the dad on Urkel. What was Urkel's?
Oh,
Family Matters.
Family Matters? Oh, the Reginald Van Johnson?
Yes.
Oh, they played a couple?
They played a couple.
He was in Die Hard.
Yes. And also the nicest.
Is he?
Yeah, both of them were just so willing to sit around and chat and
That's cool.
But they were such a cute little couple. It was funny.
I wish they were a real couple.
I know.
That'd be
Although George's wife is really great too. But it was just amazing, like from a childhood perspective, to get to meet those people.
I love that stuff. And Modern Family, you did 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And have you? I guess you met that whole cast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And worked with them and stuff.
Yeah.
So is there improvising on there?
No.
No, it's pretty.
I mean, little things like the episode where I was running down the hallway and shoving Lily and stuff like that. Little things like get,
Okay.
But for the most part, it's pretty scripted.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. What's that set like?
Fun.
Is it cool?
Yeah, I have a good time because it's probably different for me because I know Eric and we have such a casual back and forth, and I think people are always surprised at how I talk to him. I think probably people don't talk to him like that.
Right. I also saw him at an awards show. I saw him at the SAG Awards.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of years ago. Like True Blood got nominated for something, and I got to go.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, hey, Eric Stonestreet.
Yeah.
Eric Honeycutt's another guy.
Yeah, he's great too.
DJ's guy. I got to see him and Jack McBrayer.
Oh,
Remember
Jack.
me? Remember
Yeah.
me? And they're like, hey, what are you doing?
Why did you break in?
What? How did this happen? Yeah, I love those guys. And then, okay, so you got stuff coming up.
I do. Mm-hmm.
You got something called Battle Creek.
Yes.
Directed by Allison Eastwood. That's interesting.
Yeah, I went to Mississippi and shot that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What was she like?
She was great.
She wanted to be, I guess she started out as an actress.
She did, yeah.
I saw her in a bunch of
But
stuff.
she really loves directing, and she's really into it. And her husband helps her out with a lot. He's kind of a grip and go-to for that. But it was a pretty small production, but it was fun. The cast in that was great, too. And it was interesting being in Mississippi. I'd never been there before. And I love, it was sort of hard to see some of the poverty that's there. Yeah. But one of the things that I loved is the food and the music brings everyone together. It didn't matter what status, financially, it didn't matter color, nothing. The music and the food brought everyone together, and that was cool to witness.
Okay. What? Who'd you work with?
I worked with, oh God,
Well, I have a few names. Bill Skarsgård?
Yes, love him.
He's Alex's little brother.
Exactly.
And I know Alex a little bit.
Really talented.
Yeah,
nice guy.
I don't know if I've seen him act. But I'm glad to hear that because Alex is a really nice guy.
Yeah,
too.
real nice.
Okay, good.
Hard worker, all of it.
How long were you down there? How many days did you do?
I was down there for 2 weeks and then a week off and went back for another week, I think.
Oh, wow. So you got a big part here. In that.
Kind of, I guess. I'm kind of the comedic relief in it a little bit. It's a really sad story. Yeah.
Have you seen Manchester by the Sea?
No, not yet.
That's a sad one.
Oof.
Oh, boy.
Oof.
Hold on to your briskets.
Oh, boy.
Is that a saying?
It is now.
You did something called The List?
Yes.
And that's with Karen Gillan, Eddie K. Thomas, who I know a little, Patrick Fugit,
yes.
Joe Beth Williams, some good people in there.
Yeah, my scene was with Patrick Fugit and Eddie K.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Eddie K. did my podcast.
He did?
In the early
years. He's funny.
He's very funny. Him and my girlfriend did a play together in L.A.
Oh, cool.
So I got to watch him kiss her. That was interesting.
Oh. Is that fun?
No, he's a nice guy, though.
Yeah. And Patrick Fugit was interesting for me because Eric and I are so close. And one of Eric's big, noticeable things was Almost Famous.
That's right.
He had that tiny part, but it was very memorable.
I love that movie.
I do, too.
Best.
Yeah.
But maybe the best. Well, Cameron Crowe did a few great. Say Anything is a great one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Handsome.
Yeah.
Directed by Jeff Garlin.
Yeah, I just did that this summer. I have a tiny part, but I was so stoked to do it.
Yeah, and it's got Kaylee Cuoco, Leah Remini, Amy Sedaris, who I adore, Natasha Lyonne, Stephen Weber. Did you get to work with any of those
I worked
guys?
with Jeff and Natasha, and Amy Sedaris came in that day. So I just got a brief hi. I know, but she wasn't in my scene.
Comedy legends.
Legends, I know.
Right?
Yeah. But I love Jeff. He's amazing.
And how would you say Kaylee? You worked with Kaylee?
I didn't work with her.
Oh, you didn't. Who'd you work with? Leah?
I worked with, what's that actress's name from Walking Dead? She had a run on Walking Dead.
Which one? Oh, God, which one?
I know. She played the cop, remember, at the hospital?
Walking Dead?
Uh-huh. When the hospital season.
Oh, God, I don't remember.
It's been so long now. But anyway, I worked with her. She was great.
Okay.
And people can IMDb that, I guess. I'm so terrible. I never remember names. I'm the worst.
Nobody does. It's LA. You don't have to. It's all on IMDb.
Right. Exactly. It's on IMDb.
So how was Jeff as a director?
So cool.
He must be, because he comes off like, when he does stand-up, I've seen him do it 100 times, he just comes on and goes, if you laugh or not, I don't care.
And that's how he is. And he's like, I mean, it was so fast. He'd do 1 or 2 takes and be like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, all right, good.
Good.
Because he's done Curb, and I took a work, actually at I.O., he taught a one-shot free workshop at I.O. West, and it was basically how to audition for Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, he is fantastic. And I loved, I told him, I went up to him, and later when we were talking, and I said, I hope I grow up to be you. I said, everyone adores you. You're so kind. You're encouraging. I said, I listened to you talking to your crew, and they were telling you what they want, and you were like, yeah, let's get you that. Like one guy, he was like, you want to direct this year, right? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, let's make that happen. Like, he's just wants everyone around him to do well and succeed and grow. And I think that's amazing, because that's not always the way it is in this business, you know? And even if people want that for other people, they don't go out of their way to help them. Yeah. And he totally, did. And I was lucky enough to, I worked on a women in film project that he was doing one right after me, so I ran into him then. And then I auditioned for Curb Your Enthusiasm.
You did? Mm-hmm. For the new season?
Mm-hmm. And I got it.
Yay! Of course you got it. Shit.
It's a small part, but I'm excited. I do it with Jim Rash, who I love.
Oh, yeah, Groundling.
And Larry David and me. And then at one point...
that's on IMDb yet. That's not up there yet.
No, it's not. Not yet. Okay. It's very new.
So this is exclusive.
It's exclusive.
Info.
Yeah. When is this coming out? Man, I hope I don't get in trouble.
I hope you don't. I doubt you.
I doubt it.
I'm sure. If there's a problem, let me know.
Yeah. They can't fire me now.
Right?
It's already shot.
Oh, there you go. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. That's exciting.
Yeah, very.
I went on your Facebook, and there's a feet video.
Yes.
What is this?
Oh, my God. Well, I hate feet. Okay, and so my writing...
What do you mean you hate feet?
I can't stand them. I think they're dirty. I don't want you to...
I'm not a foot person, and I don't get the fascination with feet.
Yeah,
but I'm like, look, they're serving a purpose. They're practical.
Yes, but nobody needs to mess with them romantically, in my opinion.
We don't need to do that.
I keep my feet nice, I think, but I still don't want that.
Let me see your feet.
No, I'm not taking off my cowboy boots. But I don't like feet. I don't want people putting theirs on me. I think too many people wear flip-flops and they shouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's probably true.
It's just, they're the things, they're walking nightmares to me. Yeah. I don't like them.
Well, what's funny is, so you team up with a guy, what's his name?
Paul Emerson. His name. Yeah. That's my writing partner, and he's a director.
So you write a song where it's one girl's, two perspectives. One, I hate feet, and one I love feet.
Right.
And it's sort of a couple. And they're a couple, and there was like a romance. It's very very funny. And
it's shot actually. Nash, featuring Olivia O'Brien, is the song "I Hate You, I Love You." So it's a very popular song.
Oh, I didn't know.
And so it's almost a shot-for-shot remake of their video.
I did not know that.
Which is very serious and like overly serious and dramatic.
I still enjoyed it, even though I don't know.
Oh, good, thanks.
But you put a friend Danielle Weeks in it, who I haven't seen in years.
She sang. Both of them really sang.
Oh, she's so talented.
She's so talented. Her character work is amazing.
She's so good.
She's in like every commercial ever too.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a few we know about. There's like 10 people that's in every commercial
ever.
That
yeah.
we know. Uh-huh. So that's pretty cool. And what did I do with my thing? I wanted to. The feet video. So you don't like feet?
I don't like feet. But I thought it was a fun take on it.
Did you help shoot it?
Yeah, I was there. I produced.
You were there? Okay. Uh-huh. That's so funny.
when I pitched it to my writing partner, because we do a lot of branded content for online companies. Like we did some stuff for Uber last year and some other smaller companies.
Right.
And we wanted to start doing more narrative. And so I said, I have this idea. Don't say no until I finish, because it might be crazy.
Okay.
But he's used to that. We've been writing together for 3 years. And he's like, yeah, I already know your brand of crazy, so we're fine.
Well, why do you keep saying that? You keep saying I'm a weirdo and I'm crazy and stuff
Because
like
I
that.
do think that I'm silly. I
That's
like
okay.
that.
But that's okay, right?
I think so, yeah. It's served me well.
You say it like that it shouldn't be okay.
Well, I think I grew up with it, like, embarrassing my parents.
Oh, yeah, well, they sound like...
They're
pretty
just
easy
a
to
little more,
embarrass.
yeah, they're a little more private and easygoing.
Yeah.
But
What
so I
are
guess
their
I have
names?
Gary and Diana.
Gary and Diana.
Mm-hmm.
You should be very proud of your little girl.
I think they are.
She's doing good. Do they watch your stuff?
They do. Oftentimes they'll watch it and not call me and not say a word. And I'll be like, did you guys see it? Like, they're not impressed by me, I wouldn't say.
They're not calling up crying.
I'm like, no.
I mean, I can't
And
tell.
I'll say, Dad, did you like it? And he'll be like, it's all right.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's
they're
rough.
hard to impress.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's so rough. Because, like, you have a son now, and, like, he probably...
He also is not impressed when I'm on TV. If he
yeah, but I
sees
bet
me,
if he draws, like, a circle on a piece of paper, you're like, that's
that's
amazing.
amazing. Oh, yeah, I'm such a cheerleader for him.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah.
Well, you turned out very well,
Thank
if I
you.
may say.
Thank you.
Not that you shouldn't have, but let's say you probably shouldn't have.
It's possible I should be like a quiet person working in a dark room by myself.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But congratulations on everything. Do you want
Thank
to
you.
plug anything? You got your show, maybe weekly show now, waiting room.
Yes, I think it's going to be monthly.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
So I'll do that, and then I'm going to be starting a podcast soon.
Oh yeah, what's so you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, me and a girlfriend named Allison Royer, who I think a lot of people maybe don't know.
I swear I know that name. I must have met her.
She's an improviser and just so stinking funny. She had a one-person show called Everything is Literally Horrible All of the Time, and it made me laugh so hard. But so she and I are starting a podcast together called That Absolute Worst Podcast.
Perfect.
And so I think we're going to do some advice, give some advice out. Terrible,
bad advice.
probably terrible
As
advice.
characters or yourself?
No, ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So each week we'll talk about something that was like the worst
topic.
for us. So my example was for my anniversary, I told you we just celebrated 15 years. And I was so proud of myself. I got Dan Tipton a hot sausage sandwich from this very authentic place, right? He got me a very nice gold watch. Very nice.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a... I'm kind of the worst wife.
Oh, because you got him.
Because I got him a hot sausage sandwich.
Did he like it?
He liked it, but it wasn't a Michael Kors watch.
Well, it'd be worse if he got like sick from the sandwich.
Oh God, I know.
That'd be even
It came
worse.
with real good potato salad, homemade potato salad.
Like, what more can you ask for?
Well, a Michael Kors watch, I guess. I didn't know we were playing at that level. And then with Allison, like, she had a baby and she was breastfeeding and it caused her vagina to atrophy.
The breastfeeding?
Yes! Isn't that the craziest thing you've ever heard?
What does that look like? When a
Well, I
vagina
don't know. I don't
atrophies?
look at her vagina. But I guess it's like dries it up.
Oh.
Like an atrophied muscle, it stops.
Like it just shrivels?
I don't know exactly. But it sounds like the absolute worst.
Like the kid just sucked all of her water out of
Her body.
Yeah, like she was dehydrated.
I
or
mean, I
something.
guess better that than her eyeballs, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess so. That'd be weird. Having
Yeah.
atrophied eyeballs.
atrophied eyes. Or like your tongue.
Yeah. All right, all good
But
points.
I've never heard of an atrophied vagina.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
It's the first I'm hearing. We
So-
should have talked about this in the beginning of the podcast. That's what I think.
I should tell everyone. I know this girl whose vagina just like froze.
How about your the atrophied vagina podcast?
Oh gosh, can you imagine? No one would ever listen to
I
that.
disagree.
Really? I think like no man would.
Out of curiosity.
Out of curiosity, I would.
Do you have any Instagrams yourself? Are
I
you
do.
On social media?
I am. And now that the internet thinks that I'm a topless maid. I have a few followers.
Perfect.
So I'm at Dana Powell's.
Well, give them what they want, Dana. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, God, can you imagine? I'd be so popular. Hey, guys, here's some titty pics.
I'm cleaning an armoire.
So I'm at Dana Powell's on Instagram. And then on Twitter, I'm at Dana Powell 491. And I have no followers.
What? I'm following you. I must be.
I don't know if you are.
That's impossible.
I don't know.
I'm following 1,000 people.
Well, I might not be in there. I
people.
might not be.
I'll check it out.
All right.
If I'm not, I'm not going to start now.
Really? Really?
I'll start.
I released my feet video on Twitter yesterday. Not one like.
I'll like it. Go like her video. For
Go
God's
like
sake.
my feet video.
Go take pictures of your feet, send it to her. She wants
Oh,
to see
God,
your
don't
feet.
do that. Oh, God. That's like night terror stuff. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Go do that. Go do that.
Oh,
stuff.
God.
Well, Dana, I think you're wonderful.
Thank you. I think you're wonderful.
And when I was starting out at IO, I remember doing like a late show, and I think you were coaching a team or giving notes on their shows or something. And I would fill in sometimes, and you and Dan Tipton were always so nice to me about.
Oh, good.
my.
You're very funny.
Thank you so much.
And you're a wonderful human being.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, have a good day. Thanks for coming over. You're the
Of course,
best.
it's my pleasure.
You're the best.
Bye.
Bye. There you go, folks. That was my talk with the great Dana Powell. Thank you again, Dana, for coming on. It was great talking with you, as always. So go support Dana in anything and everything she does. She's hilarious and a good person. So quick plugs. Not to repeat myself too much, but check out Running Blind on iTunes and on Google Play and on Amazon. It's worth it, I think. And then Twitter at EJ Scott and at EJ Podcast. And I think that'll do it for now. So subscribe on iTunes. Leave some nice comments. No trolling, please. And check out my past podcasts. I talked with lots of great people over the last few years, and I have a lot of great people coming up. I've recorded a bunch, and I'll be releasing them soon. So subscribe. Thanks, everybody.